I think my boyfriend is trying to baby trap me. I've been dating my boyfriend for a year. I live with him. My family life isn't great. My dad has been out of the picture for as long as I remember, and my mom is very mentally unstable. She has been diagnosed BPD, but isn't on treatment. She has always been a jealous person. She showers you with love and affection, but if you don't do the same for her, she will blow up. I've seen her do that to all of her partners and to me. She has been against me doing anything other than staying home with her for as long as I remember, against me having friends, studying for school, working out, etc., always putting me down for anything. She has had better and worse times, and the last year has been one of her downs. She went absolutely mental when she found out I had a boyfriend. She tried to prohibit me seeing him, made scenes whenever I spent time with him saying, I am changing her, etc. Went as far as trashing my room when I left for a whole day. One day I came home and she told me I either stay here with her and broke up with him, or when I leave, she will change the locks and never let me come back. I called my boyfriend crying, and he offered for me to move in with him. I agreed. She has sent me a picture of her burning everything I had in my room, that she never wants to see me again and that I am a terrible daughter, made posts on Facebook calling me a whore, etc. Everything has been going okay until a week ago. I came back from school and told him we had vocational orientation and that a nurse had came to tell us about her career. I told him what she did was really cool and I would love to be a nurse. He asked me if you had to study to be a nurse and I said you had. It was about 3 years, I think. He then asked me when would we get married, and I laughed and said IDK maybe after I finish the career. He frowned and said that he wanted to have kids young. I told him we could, just not that young. We still had plenty of time, and I thought it was best for both of us to have careers before having kids. There wasn't a rush. He said he was running late for work, and the conversation was cut short. He has since then done something really weird in which he starts talking semi-sarcastically about when I start studying and asking me things like, if I am going to go to parties or make more friends, or if I'll still have time for him. When I ask him, why is he talking like that, he will deny using any tone. He has also started to try and convince me to have sex without a condom, saying that he will pull out. One time, he even went as far as ignoring me, asking him to put a condom on and trying to go in me, and he stopped just because I screamed at him. 3 days ago, I saw him doing something with the drawer where we keep our stash of condoms open. When he saw me, he closed it quickly. I grew suspicious and went to look at them after he left. Some of them had little dots like they had been poked. There were just 4 of them, so I feel like if I bring this up, he will deny it and say some were just broken. The other day, I asked him that if he wanted to have sex without a condom, maybe I should start doing hormonal birth control, and he said those pills make you fat, and he doesn't want me being fat. He also made fun of me saying, I am being so dramatic about being scared of getting pregnant like it was a curse or something. I've though about talking it out with him and reassuring him that me wanting to go to college doesn't change anything on our relationship, and we still have plenty of time to form a family. But maybe I'm being naive. I really do love him, and I don't want to end this relationship. Up until now, he has been the biggest blessing. I don't know what else to do. I don't have access to my own money to get my own birth control without him. I live with him. I don't have anywhere else to go update one. A couple of hours ago, I asked for help in a couple of subs for a specific situation with my boyfriend. Many people gave me advice and made me feel like I wasn't crazy, which I genuinely appreciate. But a lot of advice I was given revolved around me, leaving or taking action behind his back. I started thinking, and I don't think the dynamics of our relationship are standard. It would be really hard for me to hide something from him. He takes care of everything money involved, which makes sense because he makes the money, but it is to the extent I don't remember him ever giving me cash, not even to buy the simplest, cheapest items. Whenever we need something, he goes and buys it, from groceries to clothes to everything. He has made me wait in stores with the things we need for the house for him to come to where I am and pay. Even when he charges my public transport card, he asks me how many trips I need to make and charges exactly the money for them, not 1 cent more. I have access to absolutely zero money. I used to think it was just a quirk of his, but now I feel like it's deliberate. My phone doesn't have a plan. I just use Wi-Fi and have him as my emergency contact if I'm outside the house. I don't have friends or really any type of relationships that he isn't also friends with. All my friends are people he knew first. If I do anything without him, he insists on dropping me off and picking me up. He asks me for selfies of what I'm doing every hour of the day if we are apart. He convinced me to delete together all of our conventional social media, Insta, Twitter, TikTok, claiming it's better for our mental health, and then he didn't delete his because he realized he needed them for his job. He doesn't know English, and he has started complaining whenever I consume any media in English, claiming it makes him feel left out, and he wants to be able to engage in my hobbies. With people recommending me to search for narcissist abuse and other comments, I started to rethink most things I never really put much thought into or minded about. Maybe he has been controlling all along, I just didn't oppose any of his requirements until now. I guess I'm just used to having no control. With my mom it was worst. At least he lets me enjoy myself. She would try to make me feel miserable every hour of the day. But at the same time, it's so much worse. Outside of empty threats, there was very little she could do after I was 13 or 14. She is fat and old, and I have little respect or love for her. She could trash my room or scream or not feed me all she wanted, but she couldn't retain me physically. With him, outside from being way stronger than me, I love him so much. I can't even picture myself ever finding the strength to leave. It really physically pains me to write this. I feel like I am delusional, and I want to be. I feel like such an empty shell of a human being, though I had control of my life for once and I am just in the same spot. Update 2. People told me to contact my father's family for help. I tried, and he smoothly told me he does not care. I have no close enough friends who aren't friends with him to reach out to, and there isn't a woman's shelter in my city. I am also very adamant about contacting the police because my country's child laws are very strong on putting blood bonds over almost every type of abuse that is not full-blown crude sexual or physical abuse. I do not want to get back at my mom's house at any terms. I know there's a possibility this isn't going to work out, and the way he was acting wasn't okay, but he has been so good to me since now. I feel like he deserves the benefit of the doubt. I spent the weekend trying to avoid having sex. I claimed I had a bruised cervix, which did happen before, so he understood and didn't push it further than just asking for oral a couple of times, which I don't mind. He did make one weird joke on Saturday when I got out of the shower and he saw me, and he said something along the lines of, "If you don't let me get what's mine, I'll have to just get in myself." I guess he could see on my facial expression that I didn't find it funny and assured me he was just joking. I genuinely believe him. It was a joke that came off the wrong way. I managed to talk to a school friend and ask for her help. Today, we skipped the first period and went to a nearby salita. I don't know how to describe it in English, but a very small hospital for neighborhoods. I got a birth control shot. I hoped I would be able to get a 3 months one, but they didn't have any, so I have to go back every month to get it on the same day. I still think it's better than pills because that means I don't have to hide any item. And it was free, yay, thanks to the girl in Argentina that sent me the link to them. Later, I started stressing about what would happen if the day of the month falls on the weekend, and I do not have school to use as an excuse, but I still have many months to go, so that's a future me problem. I will still try to stand my ground on him using condoms though. I know I need some type of backup plan if the situation goes south, so I applied for government aid that's supposed to be for high school students from public schools, and it's supposed to help you with money for uniforms or school supplies. It's not much, but I thought if I created a Mercado Pago account, PayPal for Argentina, that I can create from my home and put my money there in investing mode, I can help it not all disappear from the inflation. I still don't know if I'm going to get accepted because it has a restriction on your parents' income, and I am not sure how much they are making currently. If he still doesn't want me to study when I turn 18, I can apply for a program that helps you for 3 months financially for people who are suffering domestic violence. The program seems too good to be true though, so if someone in Argentina is reading this, can you tell me if it's as accessible as it seems? As per today was such a shitty weird day. When I got home from school and he got home from work, I saw him and just started crying uncontrollably. He didn't ask me anything, he just held me and told me not to worry, that everything was going to be okay and that he was going to take care of me. I don't know if he had his own theory on why I was crying or if he didn't want to bother asking, but I ended up falling asleep while hugging him. It made me feel like a hypocrite. I feel like for the last months, for the first time in my life, I was just able to put my guard down and not walk on eggshells, so it kind of sucks being back on analyzing everything someone says or does or makes me do. I woke up like 2 hours ago and he went back to work, so now, I am now writing this not knowing how to feel. Update 3. I used this account to ask for advice a couple of times, to know if my partner was being abusive or if I was being dramatic. You guys were right. From my first post, things just went downhill. I feel like he could sense I wanted to leave and became more hostile even. From slight controlling acts, it escalated to plain violence, physically and sexually. On top of that, I found him cheating and a lot of other worrying stuff on his phone, but that alone would take me a whole post. I didn't know how to leave. I had no money or anywhere to go. At the perfect time, I remembered a very specific figure from my past that had almost left my mind between traumatic events, who had promised to help me if anything wrong happened to me. I'm sorry, this is vague. I do not want to give identifiable information. She agreed to help me, so without thinking about it too long, I left him a note explaining why I was leaving without saying where to, and I left with like 2 t-shirts and my phone charger. This was last week Monday. The person who has helped me escape has been nothing short of wonderful and the most loving human being, but that sadly hasn't made this past week any less horrifying. He tried contacting me on all platforms we have, and I answered all his first messages, explaining I am okay, but I don't want to go back and block him afterward, except for email just in case. He started sending messages saying he couldn't live without me, asking me to come back. Then they fluctuated to full walls of paragraphs, saying how much he hated me, and how much of a horrible human being I am, and threatening physical violence. He then sent me a message with a folder with nude pictures he had of me saying he would share them if I didn't agree to see him. The pictures are half pictures of myself. I knew he had, but they don't really show anything that would gain me a ban on Instagram. They are just suggestive. There are a whole other bunch of pictures that I sent him on limited time, agreeing to his persistence for them, and I had specifically asked to not screenshot. But oh well, in these pictures I specifically didn't show my face or any defining feature that would tell it's me. The real issue comes with a couple of pictures he added where I am fully naked, and you can recognize it's me. I did not take or consent to be taken these pictures. He had taken them while I was asleep, distracted. I don't think he would be dumb enough to share this because I am a minor, and doing so would fuck up his life way more than it would mine. Still, it scares me very much. His actions don't end here. He then proceeded to say if I didn't answer, he would find where I was and go /me. My mom and a school friend asked me where I was because he had gone by their houses demanding to see me and threatening them if they didn't let him in. I made the terrible mistake of telling my mom where I was and what was going on. She didn't have much of a response other than telling me that it was my fault and that I deserved it because she always told me he was bad news. Well, turns out my ex-boyfriend's mom called mine crying and pleading with her to convince her that I return home with him because she feared for his mental health and life if didn't. And the piece of shit I have the displeasure of calling my mom, I have told her where and with who I am. She informed me this. Her excuse was that she knows how hard it is to be a mother, and she empathizes with her because I am a horrible human being that keeps hurting people. Since this, he has just sent me one email saying he knows where I am and nothing else. I am incredibly terrified and haven't left the house. Who I am staying with has encouraged me to file a lawsuit against him, because then I can ask for state help and I do have some evidence. I don't know what is the value of the evidence. I have the emails, screenshots from his phone talking to his friends about me and Loki, admitting to sexually abusing me, pictures of marks he has left on me, and a video of him hitting the door I am hiding against, screaming, threatening to hurt me. I never till today thought of taking legal action. This whole experience has made me feel so weak. I feel if one more person starts questioning me, I will lose my sanity. I just want to move on with my life and leave everything that has to do with him behind. I am from a very small town, and people love him and his family. I feel that even if I have all the evidence in the world, the average person will still be on his side. I am an outsider with a mom known for losing her marbles. The only really weird thing that gave me a little bit of hope is that today, one of the girls in his friend group contacted me and asked me if I was okay and to know my side of the story. She said she had created her suspicions one night when we went to hang out with his friends and he had gotten really drunk and really mad at me. She said she had seen him throwing and pushing me around. I hadn't even realized he was doing so. She said she believed me and she was proud of me for leaving. She has no reason for believing me over him or reaching out. It made me feel less crazy.